Philippine class. This is the pre-boarding announcement for Flight BZ2A. Please fasten your seatbelt and we are now headed to foreign and Filipino authors. And they are... Okay class, let's call it a day. Take care, see you tomorrow, and don't forget your homework!
Kalma, baby kalma. Huwag mo naman akong bigyan ng dahilan para...
Hello listener, and you are listening to Baby Kalma by Skas.Lee.
You are listening to The Biggest Hits. The Biggest Hits. Non-stop. 24/7. Your favorite radio station for non-stop classics. All day long.
Mabuhay Philippines! I am your DJ Rojan and welcome to your favorite station! Good morning community! Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Poetic Pursuit! The one and only radio show where we explore the creative minds and behind the world's greatest poets. Today, we have a special episode featuring the elusive and enigmatic Emily Dickinson. We're diving into the life and poetry of one of the most iconic American poets. Let's give a round of applause to Miss Emily Dickinson.
Good day, Miss Rojan. How are you today?
I'm fine. Welcome to our radio station, Miss Emily.
Good to hear.
That is amazing, Emily. Community, we're here in the hometown of Miss Emily Dickinson, where she spent most of her life in seclusion. Let's talk about your life. Who is Emily Dickinson before? Woo! Everyone is curious.
Emily Dickinson is known for American poet. She is one of the most original poets of the 19th century. Born on December 10, 1830. She died on May 15, 1886. Emily Dickinson wrote nearly 1,800 poems, but only a few were published during her lifetime, mostly without her consent or knowledge. She explored themes of death, love, nature, faith, and identity with a unique style, using dashes, slant rhymes, and unconventional punctuation. Emily Dickinson's poems are lyrics, expressing thoughts and feelings. She was a keen observer and wrote about everything that she observed. Her themes are universal. Her style of writing is not a conventional one. She did not typically follow the poetic rules, but had a unique writing style of her own. There is no such theme that has not been discussed in Emily Dickinson's poetry. She has talked about life, death, and emotions which show her aesthetic intentions. Sometimes she wrote with humor, while other times she used strong wit.
OMG! That was so interesting! This is where Emily Dickinson penned some of her most profound verses. Her desk, her quill, and her inkwell, all witnesses to the creation of timeless poetry. Emily Dickinson was known for her unique style, often using dashes and unconventional punctuation. But what drove her to express her truth, these poetic nuances? To unravel this mystery, we're invited a panel of experts, including renowned scholar and poets inspired by Dickinson's works. Dickinson's use of dashes, her exploration of death, and her fascination with nature. These are all elements that make her poetry endlessly captivating.
Thank you, Miss Rogen.
Welcome, Miss Emily, to our beloved listener. Today's challenge is that you need to identify this literary piece with this argumentative speech. Written by Miss Emily, but first, we need to identify what is euphemism, assonance, and apostrophe.
What is euphemism? The term euphemism refers to those words or a phrase that can be used to convey something unpleasant, sad, or considered taboo. It is the art of communicating something in a less annoying and much lighter tone or in indirect manner. What is assonance? Assonance is a figure of speech that is characterized by the use of words having similar vowel sounds consecutively. It can be said to be a variation of alliteration.
According to the Oxford Dictionary of Literary Terms, apostrophe is defined as a rhetorical figure in which the speaker addresses a dead, absent person, abstraction, or inanimate object. The literary device apostrophe, according to the Merriam-Webster Dictionary, is defined as the addressing of a usually absent person, or a usually personified thing rhetorically.
Oh, that's the meaning of apostrophe, euphemism, and assonance. Now I know. But we need to find what Miss Emily used in her literary form.
Assonance is the repetition of vowel sounds within nervy words in a sentence, creating a melodic or rhythmic effect.
Here are some examples of assonance. The cat napped on the mat. Fleet feet sweep by sleeping geese. The rain in Spain falls mainly on the plain. Last one, the light of the fire is bright.
That was so terrific, Emily! How did you compose these kinds of literary piece?
You know, Miss Rogen, that is my talent to write a poet with different kinds of argumentative speech.
That is awesome! Thank you, Emily! Thank you for being here today!
Welcome, Miss Rogen.
To our beloved listener, thank you for listening and staying with us. And this is your favorite DJ host, Rogen May Morales, and see you to our next episode.
Oh, now I know who's Emily Dickinson.
Saan nagsimulang magbago ang lahat?
Class, now you know who is Emily Dickinson is. We are now moving to the next topic, which our next author is come from our country. Can you guess?
Virginia Moreno. Now, sound your friend is
Zalo ka lang!
Bulusan was born on November 24, 1911 in the Philippines, precisely in the small community of Binalonan, Pangasinan. He was raised in the poverty and had a wide range of difficulties during his childhood, including the death of his father when he was young. Bulusan immigrated to the United States in 1930 at the age of 17, and seeking more opportunities and to escape poverty and injustice in the Philippines. Like many Filipino immigrants at the time, he was initially found work in low-wage industries such as agriculture and domestic service. Bulusan's most famous work, the semi-autobiographical novel America is in the Heart, was released in 1946.
And that is Carlos Bulusan.
Let's call it a day, class. See you tomorrow. Goodbye.
Hey Argeline, how's your school?
Pretty fine.
Did you learn something?
I learned a lot. Hey guys, listen! That's our favorite radio station.
Oh wow, nice. That's also my favorite.
Rojan, and welcome to our radio station.
You are listening to The Biggest Hits. The Biggest Hits. Non-stop. 24/7. Your favorite radio station for non-stop classics. All day long.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, to our beloved listener. Welcome to Poetic Pursuit, the reality show where we explore the creative minds behind the world's greatest poets. Today, we have another special episode featuring our genius and handsome author and poets. I'm your young, sexy, and beautiful DJ host, Miss Rojan Morales. And today, we got an exciting show lined up just for you today. But before we dive in, let me remind you to stay tuned until the end of special announcement. Today, we're exploring the two authors, and they are F. Scott Fitzgerald and Leah Tolstoy. It's going to be an enlightening journey. So grab your coffee, evening snack, or other chicheria and let's get started. Our first topic today is famous authors and their literary feats. Joining us for this special episode is so amazing. But before we bring them on, let's take a quick break for
Lower! Lower pa! Mas pinababa ang presyo kaysa dati. 475 pesos SRP na lang per 35 grams sachet ang linis at bango ng Champion Supra Clean.
Welcome back, dear listener. We will now continue our episode. And he is...
F. Scott Fitzgerald is one of the greatest writers the United States has ever produced. The main reason for his fame are his two great novels, The Great Gatsby, created on 1925, and Tender is the Night on 1934. These works are considered the milestones of modernist fiction, and through this, he paved the way for the other writers. F. Scott Fitzgerald was a 20th century American short story writer and novelist. Although he completed 4 novels and more than 150 short stories in his lifetime. He is perhaps best remembered for his third novel, The Great Gatsby, 1925. From that, he was born September 4, 1896 at St. Paul, Minnesota, United States. He died December 21, 1940. Fitzgerald and his notable works become famous and recognized.
In his literary piece, City Dusk, he explores a person's memories as they sit in the park at dusk. He is sitting in the park as the lights go down and begins to feel sad. But he remembers a time when the place he was sitting wasn't dark and lonely, but filled with lights, music, and people. Fitzgerald used the figure of speech to engage the readers by portraying situations or pictures that the readers might imagine in their minds and feel as if he or she were there while reading. Apostrophe. Oh, you drinker of a new wine? Here's a pageantry. Here's a carnival. Fitzgerald addresses an absent or imaginary person, inviting them to join in the city dusk. For the Assonance, the line, I shall know you by your eager feet and by your pale hair. The use of the long A sounds in a pale and hair creates the assonance. For the euphemism, the phrase, the brushing of skirts is used instead of directly mentioning the physical contact or intimacy.
Did you know that Scott died at 44 years old? Oh, well, Leo Tolstoy, he died 82 years old.
Ang damit? Summer bomber! Enjoy tag-init, minus ang heat. Magbangong buhay na this summer. Use Downy with all-day kapit bango technology.
Knock-knock!
Who's there?
Ako mabang!
Ako mabang who?
Mabango! Magbangong buhay na. Wag choosy!
Lahat i-Downy!
Mabuhay, Pilipinas! We finally know who is Scott Fitzgerald. We all know his information and his literary piece. And now we are moving to our last poet, our author. Anyone who can guess it? Okay, it's Leah Toy Star.
Leo Tolstoy is a Russian writer, born September 9, 1828. He died November 20, 1910, at Astapovo, Ryazan province. He is a Russian author, a master of realistic fiction, and one of the world's greatest novelists. The name of his mother, Maria Nikolaevna nee Princess Volkovsya, died before he was 2 years old, and the name of his father, Nikolai Ilyich Graf. Leo Tolstoy is best known for his two longest works, War and Peace, year 1865 to 1869, and Anna Karenina, year 1875 to 1877. Which are commonly regarded as among the finest novels ever written. War and Peace in particular seems virtually define this form for many readers and critics. Among Tolstoy's shorter works, The Death of Ivan Ilyich, year 1886, is usually classed among the best examples of the novella. Tolstoy was the greatest of all novelists. He is the embodiment of nature and pure vitality. His writing style is characterized by its realism, psychological depth, and philosophical insight. His writings are characterized by careful construction, uncomplicated style, and deep insight into human nature. Now, let's talk about the examples from the literary piece of Leo Tolstoy. Let's start with the assonance of figure of speech. The squeak of wheels is seldom heard in the snow-covered street. This is from the literary piece of Leo Tolstoy. The title is The Cossacks. At the first stanza and first chapter, the author uses assonance in his literary piece to have an end rhyme and resemblance of sound. The repetition of the vowel sounds like E creates an assonance rhymes. Look at the sentence with underlined word. The interval vowel of a word is repeated and has similarity sounds. That's why it sounds like it rhymes.
He could find nothing beautiful in the mountains of which he had so often read and heard. The lines here came from the book The Cossacks by Leo Tolstoy, which in this line, this is an assonance, since the vowel EA repeated thrice and OO is being repeated twice. As per the assonance definition, it needs to repeat the vowels and closes the rhymes in between. You sure? You would have to heard of this term? Do you know what it is? A punctuation mark? Yes, it is. But there is also a figure of speech called apostrophe. Want to know more about it? Well, let's define this first and how we will use this with examples to enlighten our mind. Let's begin by the usage of the Russian writer Leo Tolstoy literary piece, The Cossacks. The first morning on the road, it leaps to the end of the journey. The lines here came from the book The Cossacks by Leo Tolstoy. In the apostrophe, it requires us to use nouns, innominate, death, and absent person. Where here in the line, the word road is the innominate object and a common noun. Therefore, a common noun utilizing a general and not specific that consists of place, thing, or ideas. And the word journey is an abstract noun that was an intangible things or ideas that also matter.
Mula sa number 1, Smart Dishwashing Paste.
Ang galing-galing mo! Smart Dishwashing Paste ko! Pritong ulam na masebo, plato o kaldero. Tanggaling for everyday.
Ganyan pag Smart ang dishwashing paste. May double tanggaling formula. Tanggal galing ang sebo at bakterya.
Bahid para walang bahid, linis fantastic sa metal at plastic. Number 1 ko to! Tanggaling-galing mo! Smart Dishwashing Paste.
Heavy duty linis bawat pahid.
Smart Dishwashing Paste, manufactured by ACS Manufacturing Corporation. ISO certified, world-class quality.
ACS. Hello listeners, I'm your DJ Roger, and before we wrap up today's shows, let's take a moment to thank our sponsor, Mr. Arwin Marayag, for making this show possible. And that's bring us to the end of today's episode. A big thank you to our two authors and to all our listeners for joining us today. I'm your young, beautiful, and favorite DJ host, Miss Roger Morales. And until next time, stay positive, curious, and inspired. Mabuhay Pilipinas!
Bakit ba hindi pwedeng maging tayo? Ang nais mo ay kaibigan lang ako. Dinamdam ko ng lubos ang mga sinabi mo.